Combat. My name is Gardy. I have a guest that's zooming in. I'm going to let him introduce himself, and we're going to find out everything that he has going on. Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Doing good, my friend. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, thank you for taking some time. If someone hasn't met you before, what's your name, and then what are you going to be doing tomorrow?
My name is Jacob Landin. I'm a professional MMA fighter, Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I'll be competing tomorrow at the Combat Sports Coverage Super Fight event. I'm going to be running on in the team Carlson Gracie, the three-man duel cash bracket.
Awesome. And the goal there is, hey, take some cash, take it and run, go back home and keep training, right?
Yeah, grab some subs, have a good time on the mat with some really high-level guys. Take some cash back home, to the gym.
Mm-hmm. Have you met any of the guys on Team Carlson Gracie before? Have you ever trained with them?
We haven't had any mat time together, just online friendships. So we're gonna get together later on today, get some time on the mats, and should be a good time.
How often is that the case? In MMA and the community and the jiu-jitsu community, you make a lot of like online acquaintances, and then you kind of get to put a face with them and meet them in person. Does that happen often to you?
Yeah, man. As you start fighting more high level, I mean, it's important to cross train a lot, especially being a black belt traveling around. It's important to, at least I think, like anytime I travel somewhere, I mean, somewhat far, I mean, you should take a gi with you. You should take some shorts with you. You never know who you're going to get to train with. So I think making connections is important. It's important and supporting other gyms and whatnot, outside of your city, following them, seeing what they're doing
Mm-hmm.
comes in handy when it comes time to travel, get some cross training in somewhere else, and then things like this. I was supposed to have a super belt, sorry, a super belt, super fight, title fight, and dropped out. My opponent dropped out, and just through some online, acquaintances, I was able to jump into this three-man team. So it's pretty awesome. It worked out that way.
How does that approach change for you when you're preparing for the super fight, and now it's going to be more of a team aspect?
No real change in preparation, especially even fighting MMA or whether it's a boxing fight. Um, you, I'm not really into like training to prepare for one specific thing or the other. I think getting in shape's important. Being on a weight's important. Getting your rounds in are important. So as long as I've done all those things, I mean, it should just be uh, just a different, I don't know, different experience. But the preparation's pretty much the same, I think.
Yeah, just it's a day at the office. Put the work in and let the results come out.
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So you're based in San Antonio. What all do you have going on over there?
So I have an academy downtown San Antonio. We're about 7 months running now, House of Jiu-Jitsu. We are real close to the courthouse, real close to police headquarters downtown. We're in the Southtown kind of arts district area. Um, it's really exciting, man. We got a really big facility, 14,000 square feet,
Wow.
two stories, huge lobby, podcast room, huge parking lots for events. It's a real awesome thing that we're putting together for the community here. Um, and that's pretty much where 98% of my time is. The rest is here, at home with the family. I got a baby girl here. It keeps me pretty busy.
Now you mentioned it's called House of Jiu Jitsu, which I really like the name. It's 14,000 square feet. I feel like it could be called like Mansion of Jiu Jitsu. That's massive. That's massive. How did that even, I guess, come to be with such a big facility?
Well, it was a dream of mine. I opened the gym up probably about a mile or so from where neighborhood I grew up in. I grew up just south of downtown, so it was always a dream of mine to open a gym up. And the amount of impact that I want to have on the city, on the jiu-jitsu community, on the fight community. I mean, we've been open 7 months. I have a group of MMA fighters ranging from like 18 years old to about 24. I have 10 of them scheduled to fight in the next, I don't know, 45 days or so. So being able to provide an opportunity for these guys to, build a future for themselves, I think I had to um, take on a burden and take on a risk almost, to
Mm-hmm.
open a place that size, to have the impact that I wanted. I didn't want to just get I don't know, the quickest spot I could find, the cheapest spot I could find, the quickest way to open. I wanted to, roll the dice and open up big. That way the impact could be big. And it seems to be paying off. The community's responding well. People are coming in to train. The fight team's doing awesome. So when, me and my professor sat down talking about opening a gym, we did it together. As far as, we'd have meetings monthly. We checked out some spots, and honestly, this was the first place on the list. And when I walked in, I was like, man, I'm immediately the biggest gym in San Antonio, Texas right now.
Yeah.
So, let's do it. So, put my name on the line, and we're just off to the races.
Mm-hmm. Was there anything like that whenever you were coming up? You said you grew up right down, not too far from there, right? Or was there?
No, I mean, I did grow up doing karate. But back then, it was more like, our sensei was in his garage of his house type of deal. And, it was 3 times a week. I think it was pretty expensive too, but I don't recall. But, I grew up doing karate myself. Other than that, it was CYO sports, baseball, basketball. Every season I was doing something, usually related with the church because it was, either free or a little bit cheaper, to the parish members. So it was usually sports, and I did grow up doing some karate also, but
Mm-hmm.
nothing really. It was kind of like go outside and then come back before the street lights were on type of deal.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I'm able to build something that people can come and train and I don't know, learn some good life skills and burn off some energy for the kiddos and in a healthy safe environment.
You mentioned starting off with karate. When did that transition into jiu-jitsu or MMA?
I did not start MMA, even jiu-jitsu training, so I was maybe 24 years old already. I played college football. I wrestled a little in college. I was pretty mediocre at both, but I was good enough, to go to college. I just happened to meet, one of our coaches there at my academy. His name's Coach David. I happened to be helping a buddy move, and there were some guys doing jiu-jitsu, in the garage next door. I was probably 23 or 24 years old, maybe. And when I was done with playing football, I was just kind of back home living, starting a life. And, the guy invited me to come and roll with him. I think I had a wrestling shirt on or something. And I showed up, and, this guy strangled me. I was instantly in love, so I didn't even find jiu-jitsu. It was just by chance. And, I don't know, it was perfect timing, that I needed it in my life. And I kind of never looked back. I've kind of been a jiu-jitsu 6 a day a week kind of guy ever since, I don't know, 11 years straight now.
Wow. Okay. And then what made you decide you wanted to fight, as well and pursue MMA?
I think, getting in the gym, being a little bit bigger of a guy and someone that wrestled before, they kind of look like, hey, man, you want to help? These guys got fights coming in. You want to just hold this guy down for 2 rounds? I'm like, cool, I could do that.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of that guy, the guy that would just kind of hold people down. And I didn't know how to punch, didn't know how to, not a lick, man. I was the worst fighter you've ever seen. And somehow, I don't know, about 6 to 9 months later, the coach is like, hey, there's an opportunity to jump on a card. And I'm like, oh, sure, And they had confidence that I could, go out there and win the fight. So that instant, I guess I became an MMA fighter, and then the training was just a little different. It was still jiu-jitsu every day, but it was just that extra striking afterwards. Training went from an hour a day to now 3 hours a day.
Where has fighting taken you? Like whenever you first started, I guess what kind of cards were you competing on, and what are you doing now?
First card was who did I fight for? Premier Combat Group. They were a smaller organization out of San Antonio. I fought, Cowboys Dance Hall. That was also where I made my pro debut with Fury FC. But I'm a professional boxer also, man. I fought at flea markets. I've boxed professionally in the Alamo Dome here in San Antonio. My last 2 Bellator fights were both at the WinStar Casino. it's a cool place to fight at, cool venue. See where else, man. I boxed for PBC boxing, man. That was out in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. That one was a trip. You know. It was cold, 18 degrees, 12 degrees, something like that out there in Brooklyn. That was an awesome trip too, man. Boxing for PBC. And then jiu-jitsu, man, just training around, man. I've gone and visited some pretty cool academies around. One of my favorites, my buddy Carlos Gomez out in LA. He's got an awesome academy downtown. So, man, I don't know where I'd be without jiu-jitsu, but I definitely wouldn't have been to any of those places. You know?
Yeah.
So fighting locally to fighting where the Nets play is a pretty, surreal experience.
Being a kid and growing up, and I guess like opening a gym that in a way, do you wish that gym was there whenever you were a kid, or things like that were available?
I don't know, man. Who knows? Kind of the what if game a little bit. But
Right.
kids, I do know now that there's kids these days, man. There's some 17-year-old, 16-year-old kids out there that could. I'm a jiu-jitsu black belt that would give me a run for my money, or maybe break one of my limbs off.
Yeah.
So I do know that the ceiling is so much higher now because facilities, not only like mine, but all the gyms around the city and the different parts of the town are there now. I know that my ceiling, whatever my ceiling is, it's like my young kids that we got now, my 18-year-old, 19-year-old fighters, man, they're going to be leaps and bounds, wherever I ended, that's going to be like, they're just getting warm, So I do know that the facilities, the lifestyle, the culture that the jiu-jitsu community now has in general all around the city, especially, I think, man, the talent level is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, you said you had quite a few guys that have some fights coming up, and on your social media, it looked like there were some pictures, and there was one of your guys was fighting for Fury, and
Right.
do you have any guys on that? I think it's March 27th. There's a card. That one's in Houston. Is any of your guys on that?
The 22nd is actually a card in San Antonio, I believe. I actually have 6 guys on that card.
Okay.
6 amateurs, of which a combined record, 3. They're probably, I believe the combined record is 8-1, my guys.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 6 of them on that card, all amateurs. I have, 6 guys on that card.
Speaking of like long-term goals, like I guess what's the goal for your career, and then what goals do you have for your gym as well?
Man, the goals have kind of switched a little bit, from being, a world champion. When I signed with Bellator, of course, I wanted to make a run and get my name known as someone up on the roster, an active fighter on their roster. And of course, try to fight for a belt one day. But now these guys, man, that I have, the goals have definitely switched a little bit. They deserve a coach that's going to give their all and not going to take time off, for his own camps. So even getting ready for like this event here, these guys, basically always come first to me anyways. I feel like if I give that to these guys, whether they stay with me forever, they stay with me a year, they stay with me 6 months, if I have an impact on them, man, and they can provide for their family one day, I think the goal now is a little driven more towards that, and also using that academy to really make an impact on the city. And I'd love to help out as many people as I can. But to give a lot, you have to have a lot. And to have a lot, you have to go get a lot. So I got a lot I got to go get right now. So, I got to, when I do compete, I need to bring, my A game to show, what the skill level is at my academy. And then when it's time to coach, like I have to give these guys my all. So I think the goal is a little more towards getting these guys towards where they want to be. Now, if a big fight comes along, I would take it to the team and be like, hey, guys, what do y'all think? Because they would be involved in getting me ready for that fight. I would lean on them a whole bunch. I would just be another guy on the team at that point. But I tell them all the time, like, our fight team that we have is their team. It's not my team, So if a fight opportunity was to come, I'd have to take that to the team, see what they think about it. Even though I'm basically the head of the team, and pro fighter. I have a stable of amateurs. I still think it's their team. So the goals right now are sort of to get these guys, let the world know, because I'm telling some of these guys are going to be names to watch in the future.
Can we talk a little bit about growing up in San Antonio? You know, as a kid, anytime, you know, my parents, we'd go somewhere, we always went to San Antonio. That was like our vacation spot, and we'd stay at like the La Quinta or something, or do the river walk and all that. It was just such a beautiful city, and I you know, I need to go back up there and visit and hopefully check out House of Jiu-Jitsu. But what was it like for you growing up?
Man, growing up, it was awesome, man. I spent a lot of time with my grandpa. He was kind of like, you know, I guess Mexican daycare is, you know, just stay with the grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was awesome, man. You know, my stepdaughter right now goes to the same elementary school that I went to here on the south side of town, and there's a lot of good memories, man. A lot of sports, a lot of church activities. Um, I remember going downtown a lot, you know, riding the bus with my grandpa. So a lot of the memories are good, man. A lot of the memories um, that I have with downtown specifically are awesome, because downtown was kind of like a treat. Like, hey, we're gonna go ride the bus and go shopping, you know, downtown. We're gonna go jump on the bus and we're gonna go eat downtown. So opening my gym down here, it has a special meaning to me. The same road that I drive every day, you know, to get to the gym, South Florida Street, is the same gym, you know, we would take, ride the bus up to get to downtown. And so it kind of brings back some cool memories, man. Downtown's an awesome city, and to see what they're doing with a lot of the area around the Riverwalk, and the small creeks breaking off of the Riverwalk, the, the revitalization that's going on in there, it's pretty awesome to see.
Very cool. Yeah, I need to go back. I need to get back over there and check it out. So just a reminder, Combat Sports Coverage tomorrow is having a bunch of super fights. There's going to be some title fights. There's going to be some cash brackets, and Jacob's going to be competing on Team Carlson Gracie. That's going to be on Flow Grappling, so you can watch it from anywhere, or you can also attend if you are in the Houston area as well. Is there anything else that you would like to share today?
No, guys, I mean, if you have an opportunity, come and stop by, you know, the social medias that the Academy has, you know, House of Jiu-Jitsu on Facebook, House of Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram, and just take a look at, you know, what we have. You know, if you're ever in the area, we are literally right next door to a Holiday Inn hotel. Come and stop by, and we would love to be a traincation for you. You know, great food in the area. Fiesta's about to start. It's going to be a big party downtown, and our gym's literally right smack in the middle of it. So come and do some jujitsu. Come and see the city. And you know, I really want to let the jiu-jitsu community know that my doors are open, you know, for everybody. Our open mats are awesome on Sundays. We have, you know, 5, 6, 7 academies present during those things, and I feel we keep growing the community. The talent levels is going to be so sky high, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have the opportunity, just stop by, check us out, and come visit sometimes, get some rolls, guys.
Thank you so much again. You know, I'm excited for tomorrow. It's going to be a good one.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.